folks. We love to do these segments when we highlight small business success and small business here in Arkansas. We like to spotlight that because small business is the backbone of Arkansas, and most of the time, well, you take, for example, what's going to happen to the small business owners that a couple years ago decided to invest in a vape shop. Well, the tax man cometh. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I want to welcome to the program. We have Mr. Tyler Beaver on the line. Tyler is, his company is the Beef Cattle Company, actually spelled B-E-A-F. Tyler, welcome to the program, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm glad that you could spend some time with us this morning. I saw that the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette did a really good write-up about your innovation. So, first of all, tell us a little bit how you got into the cattle business.
Well, I grew up, my grandparents live in southern Oklahoma, and they have cattle and a farm and ranch and all that down there, so I kind of grew up around it. And then I went off and did the military for 4 or 5 years, and then came back and was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and knew I always liked that, and so kind of decided to go in that area.
Hey, what branch of service were you in, Tyler?
I was in the Air Force.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you very much for your service.
No problem.
Tyler, you're using Facebook, right? And you're using Facebook to what? Like buy and sell cattle?
Yeah, I mean, it's really more than that. I mean, they think that, that it's just us. I mean, really, there's about hundreds of thousands of people that buy and sell livestock, whether it's sheep or cattle or horses or goats or, whatever, on Facebook.
And Facebook, basically, like what they do? They're putting you in Facebook jail?
Well, like I said, October of 2016, they changed the user agreement to where there is no more animal sales. Well, I mean, we've sold thousands and tens of thousands of cattle on Facebook. I mean, that's kind of a large chunk of our business. So we just kind of had to figure out a new place to go, or come up with a new place to go, and for other people to go to. Like I said, they shut down groups with 20, 30, 100,000, 200,000 here about a month and a half ago. A large, animal rights organization purchased 25%, I believe, of the shares of Facebook, and so that really came into play here in the last 45, 60 days, and I would say they've shut down a good 70% of all the animal sales. I mean, so we're talking a couple 100,000 animal sales, here as of the last, like I said, 45 to 60 days. They've made a tremendous impact. So the app, Open Range and all that has really come into play and really been used here the last 2 months. It has been produced and it has been out on the market, 8 months, 9 months. But there was no need for it until the pressure came to go somewhere else.
I got you. So you're saying that is awesome. So you guys were prepared. So we're talking with Tyler.
I was prepared.
Yeah, you were talking with Tyler Beaver. He is the creator of this app that's become a very fast growing phenomenon. In the digital community. It's called the Open Range app. You can get it on your phone, the Open Range app, and it is for farmers and ranchers, to buy and sell, animals, livestock. So you say that since the animal rights groups that they don't want us to eat cows or, use animals the way God intended for them to be used, they have shut down Facebook's capability. So it's no longer politically correct, according to Facebook, to have this feature. And so you're saying that since that has really ratcheted up and they're canceling all of these little marketplaces on Facebook, that your app has seen an explosion. So how many downloads are you getting? I mean, what's like an average day?
When all that first happened here 45 days ago, something like that, I mean, we were seeing 1,500 downloads a day.
Wow.
And at this point, we're still seeing a couple hundred downloads a day, every day. And like I said, it's just organic word of mouth, and we're not really We are advertising it a little bit, but not much. I mean, like we've had, like interviews like this. We'll have one on KNWA Sunday. We had one in Farm and Dairy magazine. We've been on a few podcasts and stuff, so people are interested in it,
Wow.
And I think that's really where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Because it's not coming from our personal advertising.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a need, and this is something. So let me ask you this: so the app is free, correct?
Yes.
All right, so it's a free app. So then I'm assuming you've got ads or something at the top of the page and that sort of thing.
No. We have a premium listing group. We have if you look at the app, we have a community wall, which is, everybody can kind of talk and discuss and all that. And then we have, all the different pages, cattle and horses and tack and, homemade leather stuff and employment on ranches and all that. And then we have a group that is premium listings. And so there's a few ads on there from different companies, and then there's, people selling big groups of cattle and all that type of stuff, or horses or a horse show or whatever. And so there's been a little bit of payment from that. I mean, but really, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a free app, and it's just a place for everyone to go to not have to worry about all the issues that Facebook is having now.
Wow. And, and I think this just kind of goes into a long list as well of Facebook having issues, whether they're discriminating against people because of their points of view. It used to be a platform where you could just say what was on your mind, and now that's not so much. And now, I mean, I think this is a big story that you have the left's, anti, I don't know, I would say they're anti-animal in terms of the way I look at animals, but they would say they're pro-animal. I just think it's another example of them, kind of embracing left-wing policies that, quite frankly, are about less freedom and the whole thing with the Facebook, with when you could buy animal. I mean, it's just voluntary cooperation. What is wrong with voluntary cooperation? And then you, but it created an opportunity for you, Tyler, didn't it?
Right.
Well,
like I said, I mean, it's going to happen either way. I mean, cattle are going to be sold, horses are going to be sold. All those kind of things. It just creates another hurdle, that you got to get over. I mean, but it's not like that's really changing, changing how, people still have to eat,
Hey, let me ask you this, as somebody who is, a rancher, in your opinion, how is the cattle market going? How is the beef market going?
Terribly.
Really?
The cattle market is down. I mean, you're seeing calves go for, dollars, when they should be up in the 150, 160 range, 100 price. All this fire stuff in northern Missouri, and there's a big issue with that, and then NCBA kind of refusing to step in, and it's a big argument right now in the beef business. It's a big headache, and people are wondering where their beef checkoff dollars are going, and a lot of people need some help. I mean, because cattle prices are through the floor, and there really doesn't seem to be a whole lot of end in sight. I mean, everybody's just hoping for this weather to break and all that, and maybe we'll get a jump up, by a dime or a quarter or something like that, and get straightened out a little bit, but who knows?
So can you enlighten me and some of our listeners who maybe are not really aware of the market intricacies and why the prices are the way they are? I mean, you mentioned the fires in Missouri, you mentioned the weather. Can you just treat us like we're not ranchers and we don't know why the prices are low?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but the recent issue has been the Tyson packing house fire up in, was it Holcomb, Missouri, I believe?
Okay.
And it burnt a large packing plant down. I don't remember the percentages off the top of my head and everything, but they killed. I say killed. What I mean is they produced a lot of boxed beef out of, or boxed beef. They produced a lot of beef out of that packing plant on a daily basis and a weekly basis. Well, so what happened was, there was a fire, and then once that fire happened, they had to divert all of these cattle to other places, other packing houses. Well, that creates a surplus in the feed yard, and so all these feed yards are going to have to hang on to these cattle a little bit longer and put a little bit more feed in them. And if they're going to have to put more feed in them, then they have to buy them at a cheaper price on the front end, which is what's coming down to the farmers, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so they get a little less money for their cattle because the feedlots are going to have to feed them longer because they're going to have to hang on to them longer, because of the packing house issues. But the argument is that that's not a real issue. That is kind of a synthetic issue that was created. Not necessarily that there was a fire, but that the packing houses can't keep up, and that it has, altered this, the cattle prices so much. I know that they have, sent them to different packing houses all over the nation, but I don't know. It's a big argument right now. Because when you sell a calf or a cow at a sale barn, there's a beef checkoff dollar for every one that's ever sold across the whole United States, and $2 in Texas. And all those, there's millions and millions of dollars a week, that are collected and that go to, your beef checkoff money, and that money is supposed to protect the producer, and fight for us and fight for our, value with our cattle and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people feel like that's not happening at the moment against the packing houses.
Yeah, man. Well, I do appreciate you, telling us what's actually going on. I don't think a lot of people knew, some of those intricacies and details. And I certainly hope, the market turns around and gets better for our beef farmers. Now, on the other hand, Tyler, I'm sure the environmentalists want us to stop eating cows, which is never going to happen over my dead body, right?
Right.
So anyway, that certainly wouldn't be the answer to fixing the market, is for people to stop eating meat, right?
No, definitely. Something like, what is it, 70-something, maybe 80-something % of all grains produced are not good for human consumption. They're good for only animal consumption. And so as soon as you do that, you've got a lot of people that are producing all these things that can only grow these types of grains that cattle can consume, and now they can't produce anything. And so what are those people going to do for a living?
Yeah.
There's so many issues with it.
Yeah. Well, also the issue is that I think, I think cow is delicious. So that's.
Well, yeah, of course. Right?
Tyler.
There's a lot of issues, but
yeah, there are. Tyler Beaver. Okay, we appreciate you spending time with us. You're the creator of the Open Range app. I want people to go get it if they want to buy or sell cows or livestock. You go to your app store. I'm assuming I have an iPhone. I'm assuming this is also on Android, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And it is on web.
And it's on the web. So is there a site they can go to get it?
Yes, openrange.app.
There we go. Openrange.app. Tyler, I appreciate your innovation. I appreciate you also being in Arkansan and spending some time with us this morning.
I appreciate it.
All righty. Tyler Beaver, everybody. We're going to take a break. We're going to reset.